What is going on, guys, and welcome to the 24th of October Monday Night Raw Review. I say Monday night, I never watch it on a Monday night. I was watching it Tuesday morning now because, you know, life has got me so busy that I just don't have time to even watch it. And sitting through 3 hours of Raw each week is tough. It's tough, and today's Raw was tough. There were a couple of good segments where I'm happy that I did in fact watch, but most of the show was just pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, there were many reasons tonight on Raw where I feel that it proved why SmackDown is the better show, in my opinion. You know, SmackDown I look forward to each week. SmackDown I'm invested in the superstars. I'm invested in the storylines here. I'm invested in a few, but yeah, I mean, it was just a bit disappointing. There are a lot of things that I thought would be good about today's show that weren't, which is always disappointing. You know, when you're invested in a feud and you look forward to it, and then you know has a bad segment. I think that's not great either. So yeah, pretty diabolical Raw in my opinion. But we're going to go through it. Hell in a Cell this Sunday live on the WWE Network. Now I thought I'd be able to watch this pay-per-view live. First one that I'd be watching live for a reasonable amount of time. But no, I can't because I go back to college on the Monday, which is fucking so annoying. But anyway, Monday's Raw, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm so good with states and stuff at the moment. Like I reckon I could tell you 95% of the United States, the states in America. I bet I could do it. I'm going to do it one day. We're not going to do it today because we want to get onto the Raw, and I'm afraid to say this first segment is going to have to go on the Cameron Cole list. It was okay. It was a bit pathetic, in my opinion. Perhaps it's because I'm in a bit of a mood. Well, not a bad mood. It's just like, ugh, really? I love Chris Jericho. I love Kevin Owens. I love Seth Rollins. But I do like Seth Rollins being a bit more fire, a bit more like he was at the end of the segment. Not this fun-loving bear. That's the only way I can describe him. You know, with all this, what was it, sparkle something or other last week. I mean, it's just pathetic, just absolutely pathetic. But yeah, an okay opening segment. That's how I'm gonna word it. An okay opening segment. Stephanie McMahon came out. We had this whole thing with the list. Now I like Chris Jericho and the list. I find that funny, but this was a bit stupid. I'd much rather face to face Owens, Seth Rollins, because then we got that animosity and that thing that we really haven't got that far in animosity into this feud yet. And I was hoping it came last night, and it did towards the end of the show, but maybe not enough, maybe not in time. Enzo Amore versus Carl Anderson. What the fuck? Why do Anderson and Gallows keep losing? Since AJ Styles has shipped off to SmackDown and has skyrocketed, these two have, well, they've skyrocketed downwards. You know, it has been a terrible fall for them, and I don't understand why WWE can't book them like the monsters that they debuted as. 1 week, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, they came out and they beat up Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, and I thought, oh my god, they're back. This is the best. This is how we want them to be. But then cheap loss last week to Big Cass very quickly, ridiculously quickly, and he loses to Enzo Amore today, and yeah, just really disappointing. It's obvious that SAWFT are going to win this Sunday, which I'm okay with if the match goes, and it will probably go long, but I feel like Anderson and Gallows, they need this win. They could be the best tag team in WWE. I think they are the best tag team in WWE, but they're not winning, and that really is frustrating. I mean, there's a couple of stuff like that happening on Raw at the moment that really are pissing me off, to say the least. New Day versus Sheamus and Cesaro. I feel like I'm the only one on the planet who is enjoying Sheamus and Cesaro as a tag team. I'm loving it. I think it's great, and this was one of the better segments. But why give us this match? Oh my god, why give us this match on Raw when it's on pay-per-view? Now I don't care about the match at the pay-per-view because we saw it there and then. And Sheamus and Cesaro winning means New Day will regain the title at Thingy. At least there would be a hint that they wouldn't if this match wouldn't have taken place. New Day are still a little bit lame and a little bit boring for me. I think they need to split before they're so lame and boring that no one cares about them. Cesaro and Sheamus, I'm liking the team. I think it's good. They were together tonight more than they have been before. And that uppercut from Cesaro to Kofi Kingston right at the end was extreme. This match on Sunday now I don't really know what to expect, because last time we saw this similar sort of thing, we had Rusev Reigns, which is a great Raw bout, and then the SummerSlam, I think it was, no, it wasn't SummerSlam, I can't remember. Then the actual bout of the pay-per-view was pretty poor. So yeah, and they had a little thing going tonight where they, not much for Rusev and Roman, they were just talking backstage, which was lovely. And to be honest with you, it's in Hell in a Cell, but I'm not really that intrigued for this match, and that's kind of this show. I'm not really that excited about it, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But Sheamus and Cesaro getting the win against the New Day, which means they will lose this Sunday. Well, in my opinion, you see a little bit on the prediction show. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I probably won't get it up tomorrow or Thursday. I'll try and get a prediction up Saturday. We then saw Bayley versus Dana Brooke in an arm wrestling. I mean, for God's sake. I'm trying not to depress myself, but this show was depressing at times. Why? An arm wrestle. I mean, last week Dana botched the end, didn't put Bayley close enough to the rope so she could have a rope break. Bayley should have just kicked out anyway. I mean, for God's sake, this was that last week was terrible. This was worse. So it was 1-1 in the arm. Oh no, it wasn't, was it? It was 1-0 because Dana Brooke won the first one. Then she punched Bayley in the second one when Bayley was about to win. Yeah, great. Then they had a little bit of a spat. Oh, it's pathetic. No, it was. I'm sorry, but it was absolutely ridiculous. The fans didn't enjoy it. I think that's as simply put. Bayley Dana, perhaps at this pay-per-view, Dana's been brought up too quickly, and I think the last couple of weeks have really proved that. Yeah, she's not good. Let's be honest, she's not good. Bayley's just sort of floating around, doing nothing. Curtis Axel versus Bo Dallas. I was already into this. Curtis Axel looks better, looks fresh, looks as good as Curtis Axel, in my opinion, has looked. Bo Dallas is looking as good as Bo Dallas has looked as well, certainly on the main roster. So I was really engaged in this match, and I think this could be a decent feud. I feel like this is a Darren Young, Titus O'Neil type feud. That's the sort of spot that WWE are going to give it. But I think this one could be a hell of a lot better. Dallas did win, but it was a roll-up, so whether we get another match at Hell in a Cell or whether we get a match next week, I don't know. But this could be a great match. I'd like to see them, and I know people are going to laugh when I say this, but given 20 minutes to just go ham and to just go for it. And maybe Bo Dallas wins and Curtis Axel doesn't win, but you can really, because I feel like Curtis Axel could be a United States champion, and I feel like Bo Dallas could be a United States champion. I feel like Curtis Axel really, the sky's the limit with him. I still believe he could be something. I don't think he ever will, but I believe he could be if booked in the right way. But yeah, decent match, decent. So I quite enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favourites of the match of the night. The Golden Truth versus Shining Star. I'm not gonna lie, I actually fast forwarded this bit because I couldn't give a fuck about it. I don't know what's going on. I don't care what's going on. What is the point? Move on. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte in the contract sign. Now, this was hands down the best segment of the night. Mick Foley, or Foley, sorry, I always pronounce that strangely. What an unbelievable role he played, telling us about the Hell in the Cells that he'd been in and how it damaged him and how it was it was like going to hell, and you leave when you enter the cell. You leave a completely different person, and he was reluctant to let these women sign the contract, and they were reluctant to sign the contract, but they did. And the animosity between Charlotte and Sasha, the insults thrown back and forth, the emphasis on how big and how massive and historic this match is, but the danger and the fear is still there. I thought it was fantastic. As I said, I think Foley comes out of this looking absolutely brilliant. Since he's been Raw General Manager, this was the best he's been. And Charlotte and Sasha looking very, very good as well in this segment. And I don't know what this match is going to be. I don't know how good, how bad it's going to be, but it's going to be historic and it is going to be good. And it has to be said, hopefully they have a fantastic match and hopefully Sasha wins. But yeah, good segment. And this has been the best feud on Monday Night Raw. It's been booked fantastically. And this is, I think, the best women's feud we've ever had in WWE. I don't know if maybe people have watched WWE for ages. Tell me a better women's feud or divas feud as it would have been back then than this one. Or no, it would have been women's, wouldn't it? Because it was, yeah. You know what I mean. Yeah, great contract signing though. And what a match this will be. It's one of the only matches I'm looking forward to. Brian Kendrick versus Rich Swann. TJ Perkins. I like TJ Perkins. I like Rich Swann. I like Brian Kendrick. Kendrick lost tonight. A bit strange that he's just losing before the pay-per-view, but I get that it was a roll-up and it was to kind of show that I suppose TJ Perkins has got to Brian Kendrick. Kendrick backstage saying that, let me win. to TJ. I mean, that's not going to happen. Kendrick's mad, absolutely insane. Story's slowly starting to develop here in the Cruiserweight division. It will take time, and I've said this, it will take time. Give it 2-3 months, give it to the new year, give it to WrestleMania time, and this division will probably take off. But yeah, maybe Rich Swann now possibly lining himself up to take on TJ Perkins when Brian Kendrick, in my opinion, will lose this Sunday. So yeah, maybe Rich Swann versus TJ Perkins. I mean, Cruiserweight's always going to get great matches, entertaining matches. The question is, can WWE integrate a story enough to make us care about the matches? Because if they can, then it will really reinvent Monday Night Raw, and it will make it a hell of a lot better. And even if we've got garbage for 2 hours, or perhaps 1 hour and 45 minutes, and Charlotte and Sasha are doing their bit, and we get Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho doing something, then maybe it will be kind of watchable. Maybe. I don't know. Moving on. Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. Never got a match. Braun Strowman, I thought, on the mic, I think he's better on the mic than I actually thought he was. And I'm starting to believe in this Braun Strowman character. The way that the squash matches, I think, have done a lot of good for him. Where's Nia Jax, actually? It's just come to me. Where's she gone? But anyway, Braun Strowman, I think it shows why these squash matches were good, and the way that they, Braun Strowman said, I'm sick of this, I want bigger competition. Then he faced 2 people, then he faced 3 people. I think that's a great way. And then Sami Zayn came out. I thought that was good. I thought he's been booked well from WWE. Strowman said, I want real competition, when Sami Zayn was out there, and that fired up Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn hit him. Sami Zayn slapped him. Then done a little bit of a run. Got Braun Strowman down. Strowman caught him, slashed him in to the barricade. And basically walked off. Sami Zayn in the ring saying, give me a little bit more. Sami Zayn the fighter, Strowman the bully. Bully versus fighter. Who's going to win? I think Strowman has to win this feud. But I am kind of engaged in this. I'm kind of into this feud, which for me at the moment for Raw is rare. So yeah, it could be a good feud. Whether we see them fight each other at Hell in a Cell, or whether it's a slower build. I'd like a slower build, but who knows with WWE. And then saw Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming out. Now this segment sucked dick. Why do this in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in Brock Lesnar's quote hometown? Important quotation marks there. Why do this? I don't know why they did that. I just don't. It was. You could see Paul Heyman was getting pissed off, and I think he just gave up the segment because he was like, "Well, this is stupid. How did you expect me to do this in this arena? It doesn't make sense." They were all for Brock Lesnar, and I think they needed them to be, Heyman wanted them to be all against, but it was never going to work. It sucked. And yeah, it just wasn't going to work. I think a lot of people were a bit disappointed. It was a wasted Brock Lesnar appearance. And if you think how much WWE probably paid Brock Lesnar to come and appear last night, what a waste, Goldberg there next week, hopefully. We need Lesnar and Goldberg in the same ring. I don't know if this match is penned in for Survivor Series yet. But it looks like it probably is going to Survivor Series. I'd like them to hold off to WrestleMania, but it seems that every week they can't just go 1 week Goldberg, next week, something's got to happen. So yeah, Goldberg next week. Very, very poor segment really, and through fault of creative, not through fault of Heyman and Lesnar. Heyman and Lesnar tried, but ultimately it was never going to work. Then we saw Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho, Lesnar. Owens and Jericho dominated Rollins, really. They were, ganging up on him. And essentially, it was an okay match, and Rollins ended up pinning both of them, meaning that Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins will happen this Sunday, Hell in a Cell. But the post-match beatdown was the thing. They were brawling. And it reminded me of NXT with Kevin Owens when he was doing it with Sami Zayn. And it did. There was the violence, there was the viciousness, there was the hatred that we should have seen from this feud months ago. We just never did. This could have been the best feud in WWE. It should have been the best feud in WWE. Instead, it isn't, and it wasn't. But a good way to cap off and get people invested and excited for the match this Sunday at Hell in a Cell, where Kevin Owens will take on Seth Rollins. I'm looking forward to this match because it's two of my favourites in a match together, so it should be a good match. But the build up to this hasn't been all that fantastic. I'm really looking forward to when Chris Jericho, eventually turns on Kevin Owens, because I think that could genuinely be a fantastic feud. But Raw just feels flat. It is the B show without a shadow of a doubt, and yeah, I just feel like it's too long. I think that's a big thing, is knowing when you're sitting down to watch Raw that it is 3 hours long. Too much filler, too much crapness that doesn't need to be there, and just simple booking decisions that they are getting wrong week in, week out. The same booking decisions that SmackDown are getting right. And I think that's the big thing. Couple of good segments tonight, not all bad. And I'm sure Hell in a Cell will be a decent show. I'm just not that invested in the matches, so it won't really set the world alight, put it that way. But yeah, if I had to give Raw a rating out of 10, I'd give it a 4 out of 10 today. It wasn't a great show, to say the least. The show before my birthday stunk, really. Decent segment with the end segment and Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, and a very good segment between Sasha and Charlotte, which I'm kind of happy that I watched the 3 hours just so I saw that. But other stuff really were poor. A wasted Brock Lesnar opportunity, or appearance, should we say. Owens Rollins this Sunday, but the big one should main event the whole entire show. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, making history inside Hell in a Cell. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Sorry it's short, by the way, guys. It just, when Raw's so shit, it's tough to delve in too much because it depresses me too much. It makes me want to just jump out the window, so I don't want to get to that stage. Love you all. Bye-bye.